Okay guys, so I promised you some training on calories, because a lot of us seem to be confused upon how much we should be having, when we should be having them, the amounts, how to work them out, etc, etc, etc. So I'm going to give you hopefully a quick training upon just how to get your shit together, so you know what you're doing. But the problem is we can know all the numbers in the world. Knowing and doing are two different things. Talking about it and taking action are two different things. Now, my first point upon calories is, number one, is to be honest. Okay? Be completely honest, because what I feel is a lot of us are in denial. So your body is a true reflection upon how you treat it day to day. Okay? Now, even if you're one of those people that go balls deep and smash your diet and smash the exercise Monday to Friday, yet you don't track your food on weekends and you don't really exercise that much, then there could be a reason why you are not producing results, or the results that you want. So secondly, with regards to results, like I said, number one, be honest. Where are you at? What have you achieved in the last week, last 4 weeks, last 12 weeks, last year, last 5 years? Where are you at? So if you're in the same position or not far off the same position, what it's generally telling you is what you are doing isn't working towards the result that you want. Now, I'm not saying to you your exercise isn't working, because when you exercise you are going to feel better, which is great. You are going to become stronger, which is great. You're going to become fitter, which is great. But for most of you, you just want to be leaner and smaller, and that's the fact of it. Most of you couldn't give a fuck whether you lift more, whether you run faster. You couldn't give a fuck, so you want to just be leaner. So we've got to be honest in where are we at, what are we doing, what have we been doing, is what we're doing working, how do you know if it's working? So what sort of feedback are you getting? Okay, are you weighing yourself week in, week out and nothing's changing? Or you might have lost a pound 1 week, then you gained a pound, lost a pound, gained a pound, and all of a sudden you've gone through a year and you've lost fucking 26 pound, but you've also gained 26 pound. So you're actually in the same position at the start of the year as you were at the end of the year. So where are you at? So you need feedback. Okay, so the best choices of feedback, I'm telling you, are weighing once a week, measuring every other week, pictures every 4 weeks. So why do I say weigh-in every week? Because weigh-in is dead easy, it's dead simple. Can give you an instant reading. But you've got to be consistent with it. So if you're weighing yourself, make sure you do it at the same day, at the same time. Even to the extent of if you have weighed yourself and the day before you've drank more water, well, that's going to have an effect. That's going to have a direct effect upon your weight the next day. So you have to be really consistent. Now, I'm not saying to you don't drink water. I'm just saying be consistent. So if you drink 2 litres of water every single day, continue drinking 2 litres of water every day. But don't jump to 4 litres the day before you weigh in and not expect to be a little bit heavier, because water is weight. Water isn't fat though. Okay, so don't get them too confused. And also the confusion is the fact that weight is not always fat. Okay, so if you, like I said, if I weighed myself now and I drank a litre of water and I weighed myself again in an hour, I'll be heavier. Doesn't mean I've gone fatter. Now, I'm not saying to all of you that the reason why you're gaining weight is because you're drinking too much water. That's probably not the case. But there are reasons as to why some people might not be producing a result on the scales. That's why we then use measurements, and measurements every 2 weeks, because it takes the body a little bit of time to adapt, and pictures every 4 weeks, just because it's harder to visually see a change. So you need about 4 weeks for that. So you need to be honest. Where are you at? What are you doing? What lies are you telling? Because generally with a lot of our diet, we tell lies. We pretend that we're doing everything perfectly when we know we had this treat. We're not really completely honest with how much we had. We only track Monday to Friday and we conveniently stop Saturday and Sunday. So be honest, what results have you had? How are you tracking them? And are you on track? So if you're not on track, and you're not getting the results, then you have to look at your lifestyle, you have to look at how you're tracking things, and you probably have to become more accountable. So that's the introduction to calories, because calories are a unit of measure. Just like pounds in currency, they're a unit of measure of how many calories you need to maintain your weight, lose weight and gain weight. Okay, so we're going to work that out today. So we need to be specific. Number 2, we need to be specific. So most of us are just winging it. If I asked you how many calories do you need per day, would you be able to tell me? Would you be able to show me a tracker where you've been tracking them? Bear in mind, 90% of all recorded food diaries, there are lies in there. So there might be little white lies, not getting the amount right. So tracking your food is a guesstimate. And like I said, if you feel you are tracking your food and you're not producing results and you're tracking it every single day, then all we do is readjust. So we either do more exercise, we tailor our food. So we just, generally our feedback's telling us, is what we are doing working, yes or no? And if it's not, we need to not spit our dummies out, we not need to have a sulk, we not cry about it. All we need to do is realise that doesn't work for me anymore. So if I continue the way I'm doing it, I will be in the same shape in a year. And do I want that? Yes or no? Do you want that? And if you don't want that, we need to do something new. We need to take it on the chin that what you're doing is not working. It's not a problem, it's not an issue, it's just we can't continue it, it's not working for you. So being specific, we need to work out your calories and we need to track them, certainly for a month. I'm not saying you need to track them for the rest of your life, because you'll generally eat in patterns and habits, and certainly Monday to Friday we generally eat sort of the same way because our life is more structured, and then on a weekend it goes a little bit tits up because we're not in a structured environment. So we're generally here, there and everywhere doing stuff, we're picking stuff on the go, and we can't really be as structured. But if we can make our Monday to Friday as good as possible, and maybe have one, not cheat day, one day where we're a little bit off and then back onto it on the Sunday, then we will start producing results. And remember, results, especially if you're looking for fat loss, you need to be in a calorie deficit. And if your body isn't changing through weight or measurements, or you don't look any different, or your clothes don't feel any different, then you are not in a calorie deficit. You need to, and if you think you are, you need to stop lying to yourself. You just need to be, like point 1 says, be honest. Don't be a dick and pretend that you're that one person on the planet that can't lose weight. Okay? Don't pretend to be that person, because you sound stupid. People think you're stupid, because everybody can lose weight to some degree. Okay, so we've got be specific. So like I said, I'm gonna work out my calories for you now, and like I said, you need to register to MyFitnessPal. So that's www.myfitnesspal.com, and what you don't do with MyFitnessPal is you're going to use the numbers that I tell you, not the numbers that MyFitnessPal tells you, because we're going to be a little bit more specific to make sure that the numbers are directly right for you. So, right, we're going to crack on with working out. So, as you can see on the screen, I have Google. So I'm going to type in, so the website for it is TD, you can see it straight up, EE, so that's Total Daily Energy Expenditure Calculator. Okay, so you'll see it's the first one, tdecalculator.net. So what you need to do is click on that, and that'll open up the page. This is a fucking awesome page, guys, as well, dead easy. So you got imperial metric, I'm going to go with imperial. So I've typed in TDD, so total daily energy expenditure. Let me just tell you about this. So this accounts for your exercise as well. So it's your total daily energy expenditure. So we need to know how many calories are we burning out in a day. So you guys that use a Fitbit, you don't need to additionally add these calories because they're already being accounted for in this. So it's one of the common mistakes that people work out the calories and then they think they've got all these extra calories from all this burning from your Fitbit when it's already been accounted for. So you don't eat more at all. Okay. So imperial. So I've got my gender male, age surprisingly, I know you think I'm younger, but I'm 32. My weight is 15 stone, so 15 times 14 is 210 pounds. Height, I'm nearly 6 foot, I'm 5 foot 11. So now, activity factor, what do I do? How do I live my life? Okay, so I'm generally, am I sedentary? Not really. Do I light exercise? Am I 1 to 2 times a week? Not really. Moderate exercise 3 to 5 times a week, that's probably a little bit closer, but not accurate. Heavy exercise 6 to 7 days per week. Athlete 2 times per day. So I'm probably close to an athlete, but I don't train 2 times per day every single day. So to be honest, I probably train once a day. So I'll go heavy exercise. So that's for me. My body fat, so that's optional. So if you've had a reading done, and an accurate reading, not something that you've made up yourself, do not fill that in. Okay, so I just press calculate. Boom, here we go. Now I know a lot of you are going to get jealous now because I'm allowed 3,320 calories. Okay, so I'm allowed, let's get this up, my whiteboard. Okay, so I'm allowed 3,320 calories. So those bad boys are to maintain my weight. So it says there 3,000. So it says based on your stats, the estimate for your maintenance calories is 3,320. So as long as I train once per day for an hour, I'm allowed for all my statistics around about 3,320 calories, and that means that I will neither not really gain weight and I won't really lose weight. Okay. So also it gives me a reading if my activity factor was any other. So see on the screen. So this is really good. So say for example I heavy exercise. So I exercise 6 days per week. So 6 days per week I will be having 3,320 calories. Okay, so that's what it's telling me. But what about a day where I don't do any exercise? What about a day where I just move about? So I don't attend the gym, I'm not really active that much. So I can see on the screen it says to me, if I'm not really doing much, so I'm pretty sedentary all day, so say Monday to Saturday I train once a day, so I have that 3,320, and on a Sunday I sit on the couch all day, not really fucking doing much. So my calorie need, my energy expenditure goes down because I don't really need any more. So it says here that I need 2,310. The problem with a lot of us is we eat the same amount. So we get given these amount of calories, so we still eat the same amount whether we've exercised or we haven't exercised, but our body doesn't need that amount of energy if we're not moving as much. Okay, so it says, like I said, it says we are 23,240 calories per week. So that's per week. So day, week. So where are we at? Okay, so it tells me that. It gives me an idea. So my BMI for my height and weight tells me that I'm classified as overweight. So I'm 29.3. Anything above 30 is obese. So technically I wouldn't class myself as obese. So you've got to be careful when you listen to BMI. So people who are leaner, it doesn't massively give a true reading. So just be careful if you like the scales, they don't always give a true reading. BMI doesn't always give a true reading as well. But calories, so this is what we're here for. We're here for calories. So it tells me how many I need per day, and it tells me how many I need per week, and that's to maintain my weight. Okay, maintain. Also, if you go down the page, it tells you maintenance. Cutting is basically losing fat. Bulking means gaining muscle. So you can go into each category. So if it was maintenance, it gives you a moderate carb, low carb and high carb option of how many grams per day. But generally, you just need to, the most important thing you need to look at is how many calories am I having. The next most important is how much protein am I having. Then you can look at carbs and fats. Okay, so that gives you a bit of tools. So the main thing is that I have now worked out how many calories I need to maintain my weight. Okay. So let's get my sheet back up. So that's how many I need. So let's split the screen. So we're either losing fat or we're trying to gain muscle. That is what we are primarily doing. Okay, so for losing fat, we're looking for a 20% deficit, minus 20%. For gaining muscle, we are looking for a surplus of 20%. Okay, so so if I'm going to lose fat, so 20%, so 10% of 3,320 is 332, so times 2, so that equals to 664 calories. So my deficit is going to be 664 calories because that's 20% off there. So each day my new target is 3,320, so let's work it out. 3,320 minus 20%, which is 664. So my new target to lose fat every day is 2,656. Okay, so that's a 500 calorie, a 20% calorie deficit. So it works out at 664 calories. Okay, so that across a week would give me around about a 1 pound loss. That across a year would give me about a 52 pound loss. Okay, so remember there's 14 pounds in a stone, so 52 divided by 14 is about 3.5 stone. Now who wouldn't want to, for some of you, who wouldn't want to lose 3.5 stone? I know you'd want to lose it quicker, but why wouldn't you want to lose weight on the most calories you're allowed? So you're not starving yourself, you're not hungry all the time, you're not craving shit. Okay, so let's backtrack. I've inputted all my details. I've worked out that I'm allowed 3,320 on a normal day. Okay, so I now need to lose fat. I want to lose fat. So I can think, right, okay, well I'm going to go down to, for most of us, we do this stupid thing where we create such a big deficit. So we go, right, our allowance is 3,320 and we go, right, I'm going to eat 1,200 calories. Okay, so what's that? That's nearly a 200% drop in food. Okay, and you wonder why you're starving. You wonder why you got low energy. You wonder why you're irritable, moody. You wonder why you can't sustain it. You wonder why all you're thinking about is food. Okay, so what you need to do, so bear in mind that my calorie reading has taken into account my exercise. So I put in there that I train 6 to 7 times per day. Now if I'm desperate to change my body, then I'd probably want to do 2 things per day. Okay, I would want to do 2 things per day. If I'm that desperate, and I really want change, I'd do 2 things per day. I'd probably do 1 thing in the morning and 1 thing in the evening, okay? To some degree of time, effort, whatever it may be, but I'd want to do 2 things per day. So what we're then creating is by the minus 20% off the allowance, so this number here, which is to maintain my weight, I've dropped my food by 20%, which now gives me this number here, and that's also based upon me training once per day. Now if I add another session per day, so whether it's for 30, 45 or 60 minutes, I've then created more of a loss. So I've created a 664 calorie loss through food. And then if I'm adding another exercise session, so if I'm going to do another hour, it's around about 600 calories. So now I've created a loss of 1,264. So that across a week is going to lead to about a £2 loss. Remember, it's fucking hard to lose weight. People think it's easy. You've got to be very, very, very specific in what you're doing, and the more specific you are, the more you plan, the better your results are going to be. It's like a journey. If you went in a car and you're going to a place where you've never been before, and you just decide to get in your car and drive and just use the signs and nothing else, it'd probably be fucking hard, it'd be stressful, and it'd probably take you longer than you need. If you just went in a car and set up the sat nav, it'd be fucking a lot smoother. You might fuck up a little bit, but it'll be a lot smoother, trust me. Okay, so that would give me my reading for calorie for fat loss. So now if I'm looking to gain muscle, when we talk about this bulking and we talk about fucking eating shitloads more, we don't need to, because the problem is when we eat shitloads more, it can just go into fat because we're not using the energy, and a lot of people I know that trying to gain muscle just go fatter, and that's probably not the look they want. So again, it's just the reverse, so it's using the same theory. So again, 20% of my 3,320 is 640. So this time it'll be plus, won't it? So it'll be 3,320 plus 664. So that will equal to 3,984. So generally we call it 4,000. So that's just a 20% increase. 20% increase in your dietary needs to start promoting a muscle gain. So remember, to build muscle, you've got to be in credit to actually build blocks. If you're in a deficit, how can your body build on a deficit? Okay, it can't. So that's the sort of numbers you would need to A, lose fat, if you're going to lose fat, B, gain muscle. Now you can make that deficit as much as you want, it's up to you. What I'm telling you is, too many people create such a big of a deficit and they just type in their digits into MyFitnessPal without working it out specifically, and it just goes to 1,200, 1,300, when in fact you were probably eating 3,000 to 4,000 because you've been gaining weight. And to go from 3,000 to 4,000 to 1,300 calories per day is fucking very hard. And it's not sustainable for most of you because you haven't got that strong willpower. Evidence tells us that, because you've start diets, you've started the gym, you've gained weight, lost weight, so you're not very consistent. So for someone with little willpower and low motivation, for you to drop your calories by 2/3, good luck with that. So that's why you might not get actually amazing 7, 8, 9 pound losses with a 20% drop, but you will certainly be more consistent, and in the long run you'll be one of those people that are still going after a year, rather than that person that went balls deep for 3 or 4 weeks and then fell off the wagon, gained the weight and more. So like I said, this is the allowance. Now for most of you, it's like going for a job. Imagine if you went for a job and you started and you didn't know how much you were getting paid. So one of the first things when you go to a job is you ask how much how much you earn. It's common sense. Because if you went for a job, came back, told your husband or wife, I've got this new job, they'll ask you how much you on, how much do you earn, and if you went, I don't know, you'd be like, well, you're fucking stupid. You need to know how much you earn so you know how much you can spend. It's like if you walk past a builder's yard and you asked a builder who's laying bricks, what are you building, and he went, I don't know. You'd think, well, why the fuck are you laying bricks? So for a lot of us, we need to be a lot more specific. So it's like if you had a job and you were earning money, okay? And if you were earning and your allowance was £3,000 per month, okay? And that was how much you earn. Now if you spent 3,500, you'd be in debt by £500. If you spent 2,500, you would save £500. Now over a period of time, either way, if you went into debt by £500, you'd be in the red and you'd be in the shit big time. You stress, you panic, things won't go right in your life, and if you went over a period of time saving £500, you'd be in credit. So think about that with your calories, okay? If you're telling us that you are in a deficit every single day and apparently you're honest, where are these calories going? Okay, so you need to weigh and measure yourself, see what's going on, okay? Because generally the numbers are a very good guideline and they don't bullshit. The only person that bullshits is you. Okay, so how honest are you? And also, so like I said to you, you have I worked out a weekly calorie number. Okay, so that was 23,240. So that's just this number, my daily, times 7. Now if you're not one of those people that just eat the same amount every single day, there's different ways of doing it. So if I just show you this calorie guidance, okay, so there's like a planner that you can use. Okay, so what I just showed you was a linear pattern, so that was a 20% loss every single day, so you can see that 80, 80, 80, 80, 80, 80. That's just across the day. Now if your week matches that, then great. So then you've got the 5-2 way of doing it. So they're sort of fasting days, so you drop your calories down to 30% across a week. So the ideal way is the linear way. So that's just dropping your calories by 20% each day, and then you're very consistent and your body knows what to expect. But some people don't want to do that. Some people like a fasting way, so they're still creating the same loss because it's 20% across each day. So 20% across 7 days is 140% reduction. So here what they're doing is they're just taking 70% off 2 days. So that's still 140% reduction, but on the other days you're eating 100% of your allowance. The cycle, so if you want to make your diet a little bit more up and down, again, I'm not a big massive fan of that. Probably the most accurate one for a lot of you is the weekday. So for the weekday, people go 30% loss each day, and then what they do is they have Friday 20%, and then Saturday and Sunday they have their full allowance, because generally we eat more on those days. Now I'll post this at the bottom and you can work out, but this means absolutely nothing. This means absolutely nothing if you don't work out this original figure. So that's the allowance, and then you've got to weigh and measure yourself to know, is my results matching this? And that's pretty much it. Okay, so they're just calories, guys. So the first thing you need to know is, like with a job, how much am I getting paid? So like, that's your body. How much am I allowed for my body? Now I have a choice. I can either fucking ignore this, or ignore how much I get paid and overspend, but that puts me in the red, or I can spend as much as I earn, and that maintains my bank account, or I can actually spend less than I earn, and that puts me in credit. And that's the same way with your body. You can either know how much you're meant to eat, or ignore how much you're meant to eat and do what you want and think you know what you're doing, and your body might not be changing, and you might be gaining a bit of weight and you don't know why. You fucking do know why. You can eat exactly the same amount as you're allowed, and that'll just plateau you, maybe the odd pound here and there. Or you can go into a deficit. Now, I advise you a 20% deficit, but you can go with what you think. But the question is, can you see yourself doing what you're doing in 1 year's time? If you can't, then it's unsustainable. But imagine just losing £1 per week for 52 weeks. Okay, 3.5 stone for some of you. 1 year of your life. Imagine how many amazing habits you'll create across that time. How many habits can you truly create over 3 to 4 to 5 weeks? Not many. Okay? Because across short periods of time, we're relying upon motivation alone. We want to rely upon daily consistency, because we didn't get fat overnight the same way we didn't lose weight overnight or get fit overnight. It was consistent daily habits. So like I said, guys, I've told you what to do. I've told you how to do it. I've told you how to work it out. I've given you all the information on calories. You don't need to make it any more complicated than what I've told you. Now it's up to you what you do with it. If you want results, you'll do the work. You won't bitch and moan about it, you'll just do it. Okay? If it's desperate and it's going to change your life, you fucking do the work. Okay? And if you don't, if you're not, you'll tell how desperate you are by what you do from this video. You'll either plan it all out and do the work, or you'll just carry on with your same routine and keep telling everyone you're desperate for change, but you keep doing the same shit. You keep being in denial. You've got to do the work. So hopefully this has helped you and made you realise that it is quite simple. You've got to do a little bit of work, but I could have done this in fucking under 5 minutes. So I've structured it out for you. If you need any more help, contact us. But hopefully this training has helped guide you and give you a little bit more information in the whole world of calories.